One of the greatest features about WebStorm is its ability to autocomplete basically everything. So if I just type in F, you can see it gives a list of things that autocomplete to, like the list of keywords, like function. So if I type in F then a U and hit enter, it'll autocomplete function for me. So if I create a car and then say this color is blue, then the next time I make an instance of that car, I can say car, then dot, and you can see color is one of the options. It's the first option here. I can just hit enter, and anytime I type a dot, it'll give me that list of things it could autocomplete to, and then I could reassign that to red if I wanted to. A good way to improve your autocompleting skills is to use the Camel casing approach, where I say document, then if I want to find get element by ID, you can see I have a lot of options in here, but if I want to find get element by ID, I can type GEBI, and that'll filter down the list to the things that match those characters in the string. And then I can hit enter and then type in some ID or whatever it would be. So if I want to do another one like document dot create event object or document dot create style sheet, you can see there's an excellent way of filtering down to those things by typing the first character of each of the words to easily jump to the thing you want to do. Then just hit enter and it'll select it for you. Another good tip is that if you're typing here again and I start typing document and I want to replace create style sheet with get element by ID, I can type get element by ID, and instead of hitting enter this time, I'll hit tab, and that will overwrite what's in front of it. So if I would have hit enter, so I'll hit control space to invoke autocompletion. If I hit enter, it's just going to insert it into there. Instead, if I hit tab to select it, it will overwrite the characters that'll be in front of it. WebStorm bundles some JavaScript libraries, so if you right-click on a file and say Use JavaScript Library, you can see options like WebGL and Node.js. If I type gl.bindBuffer, you'll see it's not there, but because we bundle WebGL and I select it, I can now find bind buffer. I can find things like draw image and draw arrays, and all the things you'd expect for WebGL autocompletion, and the same thing works with Node.js and the other bundled JavaScript libraries. If you find yourself using a lot of JavaScript libraries, say for example Express and Node, and you're typing things like Express and then you type dot and you don't see any results come up, like error handler does not come up in the list of results, that's because error handler is assigned in a way that it can't find it until the app is actually running. So because of the dynamic nature of JavaScript, it won't be able to find that until the app has run. Now, the way you can get around this is by leveraging TypeScript and the stubs that come with TypeScript, but you don't actually have to use TypeScript in your project. I'll show you what I mean by that. By going into the Preferences, JavaScript Libraries, and then hit Download, and go into the TypeScript community stubs and download the libraries you want to get. I've already downloaded Express, so if I check the checkbox here, you can see that it has applied this and all these things are available to me. So if I hit dot again and type error handler, it'll show me an autocomplete error handler just like you would expect, as if error handler was assigned in your code instead of during runtime. It's also worth noting that autocomplete is available in CSS and pretty much all the other libraries and projects and frameworks that WebStorm supports. So if I type something like display, you can see that display comes up. I'll hit enter, then hit control space to show me what my options are. Then I can select block and hit enter. And you can see it automatically helps you just while you type. All of those different properties and values will come up for you. One of the most powerful features is called language injection, and one thing it allows you to do is to write JavaScript inside of HTML. So if I write create box here and I return a box, you can see I get autocomplete and I'm able to work with this just as I would work with it in any JavaScript file. But one of the surprising features is if I write some JavaScript and I say something like my template, and then I start a string and I start typing HTML, I can actually get HTML autocompletion inside of strings inside of JavaScript. So if I say style, and then I can get my CSS autocompletion inside of there and say color, red, and that works all across the strings. You can create templates, HTML templates inside of them. The last thing to mention is that if you find yourself working with a lot of strings and you want to autocomplete something that's inside of your same file, say for example, I want to autocomplete application, and I type app and nothing comes up for me, even when I hit Control Space. If I hit Alt /, that'll use the cyclic expand word, or hippie completion is another way of calling it. Or say if I type N and then Alt /, that'll autocomplete node. If I type DE, Alt /, that'll autocomplete dependencies. Or if I just hit Alt /, it'll cycle through all the words closest to what I'm currently working on.